I'm just going to show you today on this Peugeot 308 an ABS fault, which is quite common. So we'll just plug in the diagnostic tool, see what we can do. We'll just look at the fault codes in the ABS menu. I do like these snap-on ones. I do, because it's simple and quick, like I've said before. Although it isn't very quick this morning.
It's probably fucking freezing.
It's probably as cold as I am, or cold as we are. Dear. Right then, so we'll look at codes initially and just see what it says. Right, so the ABS light is on all the time, or most of the time. Then it says C1336, rear right wheel speed sensor, signal coherence. That's what it says on the diagnostic tool. Right, so first of all, you must read and read what it actually says. It says sensor signal coherence. It doesn't say open circuit, short circuit to earth, or anything like that. It says coherence, which means it means the parts. Coherence means the parts fit together. It means the alignment of the parts. It doesn't mean anything about a break in the circuit. Right, so what I've done, what I like to do always is, because you never know with diagnostic tools, some on odd occasions they'll bite you on the backside. Morning, Ian. Yeah, they'll bite you on the ass. So what I always do is disconnect the sensor on that side and make sure that it is actually the rear right that we're talking about. So just previous to this video, I have just disconnected it. It came up with another fault code saying rear right, open circuit, short circuit to earth, so that I know that I'm doing the right side and the right one. Because on odd occasions, it's been the other side. Although it says rear right on the diagnostic tool, it ends up being rear left. So you must make sure that you are at the right area of the car. Right, so that's what it says. It says signal coherence, all right, which means that very likely it's something to do with the sensor and the magnetic ring, which I'll try and show you. So what we'll do is leave the ignition on and let the battery go flat. What we'll do, rip the rear wheels off and brakes off. All right, something not really related to the to this job, but I just thought this is worth looking at. Well, this is a snap-on gun. This is an old snap-on gun with NiCad old batteries or whatever they were in them, and the batteries have gone flat, or batteries have knackered, and the charger's knackered. But this gun has had very little use, because you can always tell by the square where the socket fits on. Because if they have a lot of use, it all goes rounded, and the spring clip gets missing. Say it, not spray it. But this one's good. So I just thought, as something on eBay, or something that somebody does, so that I can put, you know, a Milwaukee battery into the bottom of a snap-on gun, or a Makita battery, whichever. And this very nice chap on eBay sells these things, right? So you can, like an adapter, you just plug it into the bottom of the snap-on gun and put the battery in there.
Simple as.
Brilliant. And then you just use your lithium-ion batteries
that everyone has for their
Milwaukee,
or
Milwaukee, Makita, whatever. And then you can just use. I mean, it's a good gun, snap-on, and it's too good to throw away. So that was like 50 quid. I know it makes it slightly longer, but it's well worth doing, I think. So we'll just.
That's a top tip for today, Chris.
Well, I just think it's worth doing. But this is quite a common problem with Peugeots, with a coherence issue. I'm sure many people have heard of it. Right, what you need, I'll get a screwdriver. The easiest thing is you look in here and see the ABS sensor and the ABS ring. Right, so the sensor must be in line with the ring. It's so difficult to see, but I'll show you when I get it. Right, you can just see, right, there you are, you can see, right, so the sensor must be in line with that magnetic pickup ring that's there. Right, it is difficult to see, but that one is in line with this one. This one isn't. This one is slightly off. It is difficult to see. It's slightly to the left of the ring. But I will, like I said, we'll just pull the brake caliper off, and I'll show you. All right. So as usual, I'm sort of aiming at the amateurs doing this, aiming at the DIYers. Right, so we've got to remove the caliper with the caliper bolts. We'll come around here, zoom in. Right, so sometimes I've just tried these bolts actually, but you've got to remove these two caliper bolts. They can be really, really tight and corroded. So to give you your best chance, get a screwdriver or a little pick and just make sure that all the dirt is out of the middle of the bolt. All right, just make sure so that the socket will go in the full depth. Because otherwise, if you don't clear the dirt out, you go in halfway and then you rip the threads off of or the teeth off of the nut and then off the bolt, and then you won't get it out. So that's what you've got to make sure. All right. Right, I'll just put them on a minute. Put one in there. Do you want earmuffs?
No, it's fine.
All right. It's all right. You've got to make sure the handbrake's off, parking brake, because you won't get the caliper off otherwise.
Chris, what are you listening to?
Nothing. Unfortunately, I haven't got the best of hearing. I've ruined it. You need a bigger screwdriver than that, really. I'll take that off. I quite like these things. These come out of exhausts, right? Motor factories have always got these, but they're quite handy just to hang the caliper up out the way. Around something.
And why do you hang the calipers up as opposed to just let them drop?
Well, you shouldn't let them hang on. You shouldn't let them hang on the flexible brake hoses. So you just should really just hang them up out the way. All right. Right. And then we'll get that one there off. Just get a screwdriver and lever that one out. Right. These are always very tight. These nuts. So you want a long extension probably. They are tight. We can get the torque of that and later on if necessary. Yes, let's remove the center nut. Sorry, yes, I've got to keep talking. All right, remove the disc and the bearing assembly. That's what it comes like. Right, and then we can see the sensor. I'll just let it down a bit. All right, and we'll just check the magnetic ring quickly. All right. Okay, so here we have, well, that's the bearing, the disc, obviously. This is the magnetic sensor ring. And this is the sensor that picks up the signal from the ring. Right, so here we are, I'll just try and demonstrate this. Right, got sensors here. Right, so we just imagine that this sensor is on the car. When we're looking in through that hole, the sensor should be, have I got glasses? No. Right, the sensor should be like that, right, against the magnetic ring. Where on the other side, on the near side it is, but on this one, it appears to be like that.
So just that amount could bring your ABS light on.
Yeah, well, just sorry, like that it is. Something like that, okay? It's not in line with the sensor, it's like that. So if you just look at both sides, you should see a difference. Okay? And what happens, that's what I really needed. I couldn't find them. Right, so what happens normally is that rust builds up behind the back of the sensor and pushes the sensor away so it's not in line with the ABS ring. Okay? Right, so what you do is you minimal effort, all right? Minimal effort to remove this bolt, because the last thing you want to do is snap the bolt off. It's a 6mm bolt probably, so you could easily snap it off. If you use the ratchet with force down here and put quite a bit of force on it, you'll snap the bolt off. So just what I would do is hold it closer to the head of the ratchet and just minimal effort, right? And that is to remove the bolt. Right, so if you're in doubt, if it's me, if you're in doubt and you think, oh no, I don't think this is going to undo, it's too tight, then what I would be doing is getting one of these Rothenberger, these like plumbers' gas torches.
And set the car on fire?
Well, hopefully not set the car on fire. I have got a fire extinguisher here just in case. But you want a decent flame is what I would do. And I would go in behind, right, because in behind here and heat up there, and heat up where the bolt goes through the axle. Right, that's what I'd be doing, heating that up as hot as I could get it. And then perhaps have somebody doing that and somebody on the ratchet, or you heat it up yourself. You've got to quickly get around and quickly undo the bolt, because the heat will dissipate through the axle quickly because it's cast. So you've got to move yourself and do it quickly. So heat it. The trouble is with that, you're going to melt the sensor. But I'd rather melt the sensor and get the bolt out than snap the bolt off, because it's quite a job to drill out the broken bolt and put a new 6mm bolt in. So they say these used to be 20 or 30 quid. I don't know how much they are, these sensors now, probably similar. So I'd rather melt the sensor and get the bolt out. Right. So luckily this bolt is coming out.
And again, would you say buy a proper sensor rather than an aftermarket one?
You can buy an aftermarket, providing it's a good quality one, like an OE original equipment make. So sort of maybe Bosch. And I've forgotten the other one again as usual. Okay, yes, there are decent makes that you can buy. It has to be, you ought to get a decent quality one. God, doesn't look that bad. I don't know. It doesn't look that bad.
What do you mean? It could be the other one.
We might do this, and it might not fix it. They're normally worse than that. Right. So anyway, you can use a small chisel or die grinder. Sometimes you've got to be careful with a die grinder because you don't want to make the surface uneven. What you need to do is chip away the rust.
I see with a die grinder, when you put the sensor back, it could not be.
Yeah, if you use a die grinder and you grind away too much, then you have a problem the other way. So I quite like using a chisel, a little chisel. Just chisel it off. This looks like it's been. It is very common on Peugeots, and it does look like it's been done before, but.
But that would be an MOT failure, having your ABS light on.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definite failure. Yes. I just tap it around and get all the rust off. And you can use a file, perhaps, if you can get a file in there. I'll just get a bit of. I'll just clean it up. Can you see that? Can you in there?
Yep. Yep, it's a bit mucky.
Right, it's just got to be. You put gloves on if you want to. Just clean up that area. So none of this has to be clean. Just this area that the sensor sits on has to be clean.
Has to be flat.
Yeah, flat and.
Would you put any oil on or grease on there?
Yeah, I do normally. Yes, I was just to say that. I normally put just to try and stop it from corroding too quickly. It always will corrode. It's just metal and this weather conditions, this country, you just everything rusts, doesn't it?
I'll just keep putting that salt on the road.
Well, yes, they do, and the quality of the metal isn't like it used to be. So,
would you say it would be better it would save the motorist more if they never gritted the roads and you just got another way to work. Or
No, I don't think the grit causes that much of a problem. I think it's just the quality of the metal. It's just so bad that the steel is compared to the quality of the metal compared to what it used to be in the 70s is so much different. So I think that's a major contributor to it. I know salt has a bit of an effect, but I don't think it's that bad. Right, so we'll make sure make sure it's not bent, make sure it's flat, which it is. The surface on which it bolts is flat. So
so we're not replacing this. It just went out of alignment.
yeah, because it said coherence, right? It didn't say anything. Like I said, read what it says in the diagnostic tool, because people just used to go right in there, both boots, and just bung the sensor on. It says offside rear sensor, but it didn't actually say coherence, which means mating parts. It means
What's not aligned properly.
well, yes, that's right. It means coherence means alignment, put parts together or something. It means so. It's all about the alignment of it. Nothing about the.
So this could save
tracker.
the DIYer a lot of money by not taking it to a garage, and the garage putting new sensors on it. And
Yeah, definitely.
there's nothing
Yes.
wrong with it.
I've obviously seen all this. I've seen it in the time I've had when I had the garage. Other people were putting new sensors on, and it still got the fault. That's because they hadn't read it properly. It does happen.
That's your 40-year-old copper grease.
Yes, it is. Yeah, well, you've got actual copper in it. I know that might sound strange, but copper's costs a lot of money these days. I don't suppose it's got very much copper in it at all. Right, so I put copperies on it because hopefully it will prevent it from corroding. Right, so to start it by hand, push your sensor on like I have.
Would you say when doing any bolts now, you must start it by hand?
Yes.
People just use the ratchet to start it.
Yeah, you do it all. Start it all by hand. If you don't use the ratchet, you end up cross-threading them, and then you just got another problem. Just create more problems all the time. Right, so just nip it up. It hasn't got to be.
Is that mechanics feel?
Yeah, it is. I'm afraid I can't. It would have a torque, but I don't know what it is. Right, so so the mating surface of this sensor is all right, and the magnetic ring on the disc is all right, it's all intact. I don't know if you can see.
Clean, or that,
no, not really.
Just...
Right, you can just wipe it off. You can normally see the little tiny magnets around the ring. There they are. Look, hang on. Try and point it out with a screwdriver. There's little tiny magnets all around. I don't know if you can see there. Look, there's 3. I think 1, 2, 3 there, isn't there? Can you see that?
Yeah.
But they're all around this ring. But you just wipe it off. That's fine. You can't do a lot more to them. They just got to be intact and not damaged.
Oh, so there's no point in brake cleaning it. Just wipe it.
No, I don't bother. I just wipe them off. Wipe the dirt off. All right. Right. So I like to be penetrating. I normally just put a bit on because I always have. Let's make sure everything's as clean as you can get it. Right. So I'm happy. Right. Let's put it on. Right. So I've refit the sensor and now put the disc on. So now you've got to replace the nut. Or you've got to put the nut back on. So it's best practice. Don't need the bloody glasses on. It's best practice to put a new nut on. But I'm not going to at the moment because I want to make sure I fixed it. So I'm going to put the old nut on and tighten it up to where it was before. It is tight.
That's exactly 150 newton meters.
Well, I say that's back to where it was before.
Oh, so you marked it, did you?
No, because it's got a mark. Anyway, it's got where the because you chisel it over when you chisel the nut over when you've.
Oh, so it doesn't come undone.
Yes. All right. So that's where it was before. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to put it. I'm not going to chisel it over or do anything. I'm not even going to put the cap on for a moment. I want to make sure it's fixed. If it is fixed, I will put a new nut on and look on auto data and get the correct torque for the new nut. All right. So we'll just see. Right. That's it. They catch them by hand. I've seen people just put them on with the air gun and then they get cross-threaded, and then you take all the bits and retap the threads or buy another hub. That's it. Right, we'll let it down. Right, but the only way to test it is to clear the fault code and go for a drive and see whether or not it's actually worked. So we'll just quickly, or not quickly, slowly clear the fault codes probably. Hang on. This thing's still working. We'll just see what it says. Not right. There we've got. So it says right rear, as we know, we've already looked at that. So we clear codes. Completed, it says. Continue. I'll just check to make sure there's no codes present. Right? Got that?
Yep.
Right, so then we'll go to home. I'll go somewhere. And just disconnect the tool. That's it. Right. We'll drive and see what happens. Power off, okay. Right, so just start
the
it.
ABS sensor.
So there's the ABS light there, look. So what it does initially, what the ABS system does initially is checks the circuit. So the car's obviously not moving, so it does a voltage check. It does a voltage check of the circuit and make sure it receives an outgoing voltage or incoming voltage from the sensor, and to make sure the circuit's complete. So it all is, right? There's no light on, there's not a problem. And like I said, it said coherence, which means the moving parts. So we'll just drive that. It comes on instantly. As soon as you get up to a few miles per hour, it comes on.
Just come on.
It's come on. Jake.
So the lights come on then, Chris. So we didn't fix it.
No, we haven't fixed it.
So we'll have to go back and do it again.
I did wonder, because there wasn't that much corrosion on the. It wasn't that much corrosion on the back plate. Right, so now, and in the sensor didn't look like it was. It looked like the sensor might be at fault because it wasn't exactly in line after I cleaned it all up.
So what do you think the cause of that is then?
It'll be a new sensor. We have to get a new sensor after all that.
Okay, so Chris Carr's signing off for today until we get a new sensor.
I'm afraid so. Right, so we've driven the vehicle and unfortunately that didn't work. So we're going to put a new sensor on now. I was a bit skeptical when I cleaned off the rust and put the sensor on, it still wasn't quite aligned with the disc. So I wasn't sure it was going to work. So we will try and put a new one on and see where we go. So hopefully there isn't much more that we can do, but it just must be the plastic must be distorted.
Just because of age.
Yeah, exactly. So the heat from the brake disc is probably.
So all it's got to do is move slightly out of line, and then it doesn't read the.
Yes, that's right. It moves out, and then you get a bigger gap between that and the ABS ring. And as soon as you get a slightly bigger gap, that's the end of it. Make sure. Clip it all in. I'll say the clips are there for a reason. You've got to, otherwise it'll be rubbing the wheel and wearing a bit of the sensor away. So we'll put it in properly, I hope. What's that? Still cold in here this morning. And one day it'll warm up. Bit of penetrating oil or something to lubricate, so you can get it on the clips. That's it. Always find good lubrication does wonders. Like that. Make sure it's all routed nicely. Put the clip on. You have to remove this. It should have a nice if they had a new clip, but you don't ever get one. You've obviously got to remove this clip from the old sensor and put it on a new one.
They never give you new parts like that when you get the new parts.
No, they don't. It'd make life a lot easier if they did. Sorry, having my glasses on would be very advantageous, but that's how I've done it. Right. Clip that one on. No, I'm not sure if that's. Make sure it's routed properly. Yeah. Whichever way I do it. That's it. Right. There we are. Push it in there in the metal bracket. That's it. Right. Disc. Right, so we're now going to clear the fault codes once again. Clear codes. Just see what happens. Ignition's on. Failed to clear a couple codes. Let's read the code again. And there we go. So, start it up. Go 10 meters down the road and see the light come on again. Doesn't take very long. Just got to go up to minimal speed. Just down here, be good enough. Morning, Trev. That's fine.
Cleared it?
Yeah, that's it. It's no. I was doing 20 miles an hour then. There's no light on, so that's fine.
So that was a success. So it was just.
Yes. So
the old sensor was.
So basically, disregard the whole of the video and just pay part starts and put a new sensor on at the beginning.
It's a lot easier.
Yes, but no, I'm joking because it's very often the rush. I'm sure other people have demonstrated, but the sensor must be exactly in line with the ABS ring, like I tried to show you.
And the old one was just slightly off, so it was not reading.
Indeed, it's my Mr. Tucker. Morning, Mr. Tucker. That's it.
That's it. Thank you, Chris Cars.
We're just driving to the post a minute and
we're in the customer's car.
Excellent. Right.
Oh, job's a good one. Job sorted. Well done, Chris Cars.
That's it. Thank you very much.